It is absurd that the WNBA is even directing digs at Caitlin Clark during the offseason. They recently posted on X and had the gall to omit Caitlin Clark from their list of the season's top 10 assists.
WNBA has been a mess this year. It has been so unprofessional, and they need to step it up, and they need to step it up quick, and they also need to, I don't know if an apology is warranted to Caitlin Clark, or they just need to, in general, do better.
Even though the NBA has seen a sharp decline in viewership, the WNBA should use this break to acknowledge what Caitlin Clark has done for them, but they haven't.
You're going to make these women multimillionaires one day, like Tiger, like MJ. We shouldn't hate on her. We should celebrate her, not tolerate her. Now, I know somebody who said exactly what she said, but said it 4 months ago. Ain't none of my business. I don't even know why I brought it up.
But who said that?
Indeed. One of the WNBA's biggest players, Caitlin Clark, has enthralled basketball fans and enthusiasts with her talent, inventiveness, and unwavering commitment to the sport. She is renowned for her exceptional playmaking abilities and capacity to guide her club, the Indiana Fever. This past season, Clark was a standout player, but in the midst of her ascent, there has been a troubling narrative that has left fans perplexed and even incensed. The WNBA, the very organization that ought to be honoring and showcasing a player of her caliber, appears to have neglected to acknowledge her contributions.
And the game afterwards got 485,000. So the Fever, in their game against the Minnesota Lynx, was 1.219 million. On Ion! On Ion!
The recent controversy surrounding a WNBA social media post where the league featured Chelsea Gray instead of Clark on a top 10 assists post became the latest spark in a firestorm of fan dissatisfaction. Fans expected a player who leads in assists to be prominent in the league's promotional materials and social media highlights, but Clark consistently seems to be ignored or downplayed. This season's story of Caitlin Clark's WNBA career is not only one of skill and accomplishment, but also of the continuous conflict between her fans and the league's handling of her. The controversy, which revolved around what many perceive to be a pattern of disrespect, has sparked debate about the NBA's promotional decisions, its dedication to identifying talent, and the effect on fans who are ardent about Clark and her career.
To hold my judgment on this, but at this point, the WNBA is getting downright embarrassing. You're not going to gaslight me into thinking that the media is the one who created this narrative that a lot of players don't like Caitlin Clark. At this point, it is clear as day. We've seen so many examples of hard fouls, dirty plays, and teams celebrating when she gets chucked to the floor. Most of the new eyeballs that are on the WNBA right now are there because of Caitlin.
A recent social media post by the WNBA that was intended to honor the top 10 assists of the season, a highlight reel that ought to have honored the league's finest playmakers, caused instant anger among Caitlin Clark supporters. Since Caitlin Clark led the league in assists, many fans expected her to be the focus of this feature. However, to their surprise, the WNBA decided to feature Chelsea Gray on the front cover rather than Clark. This was a sad and baffling decision. Caitlin Clark was the league's most talked about playmaker because to her distinct passing style, which featured daring and frequently unexpected movements that set up her teammates wonderfully. She wasn't simply another player with nice assists, she led the league in assists for the season. Not only were Clark's passes useful, but they were also exciting and inventive, and fans frequently praised them for their flair and potency.
I'm very excited to see how it translates into W. And again, eyes on her means eyes on us.
Yes.
That's what I said. It don't matter about it can translate or not. It's going to be manufactured. If the WNBA is not manufacturing for her to put the eyes on it, then they fail.
They already are. He went from one nationally televised game to 36.
That's college.
The WNBA lost an opportunity to highlight Clark's outstanding contributions by selecting a different player for the cover. Fans perceived this as a conscious decision to ignore her accomplishments, which sparked a backlash on social media. Supporters questioned why the WNBA seems hesitant to highlight Clark despite the fact that her play style and statistics amply justified it. This one post became a symbol of what many fans believe to be a persistent problem with the WNBA's treatment of Caitlin Clark. It wasn't just about one image. It was about respect, recognition, and fairness for a player who has dedicated herself fully to the game and continuously improved her team's performance. Many fans took to social media to express their frustration with the WNBA, which felt like the latest in a string of decisions where the WNBA seemed to downplay Clark's impact. The response wasn't just a few angry comments. It was a wave of fans expressing their disappointment and even rage.
Time where I made a mistake talking about Caitlin and what she's done was on the podcast back in February that I apologized for. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
I really am.
The WNBA's social media pages were inundated with comments from fans who pointed out that Clark led the league in assists and should be the face of any content commemorating that accomplishment. They shared statistics, recapped her season-highest assists, and reminded the WNBA of how much Clark has done to raise awareness of the league. Fans' fervent response shows how crucial Clark's presence is to the WNBA's audience. They feel connected to her journey and her accomplishments and expect the league to show them the same level of respect. The decision to feature another player on the post left many feeling let down, prompting calls for the WNBA to reevaluate its promotional decisions and give Clark the recognition she deserves. The fact that she was not selected as the cover for the top assists post felt like an insult to her dedication and her fans' loyalty.
And if I said to any of these people who think Caitlin Clark is not the Rookie of the Year, I'd say, who would you want to start your franchise with? Now, I'm not going to put Asia Wilson in there. I'm just saying between these two. Angel Reese is a wonderful player, but she does not compare to what and who Caitlin Clark is when she's on the basketball floor. Plain and simple. There is no one like Caitlin Clark in the history of the WNBA.
As the season went on, fans started to believe that Caitlin Clark was routinely passed over for WNBA promotions or given less attention than other players. This perceived bias became a common theme among her followers, who cited numerous instances in which Clark appeared to be excluded from WNBA promotions or minimized in favor of others. The latest instance of what supporters perceived as a conscious effort to deny Clark the credit she deserves was the social media post that featured Chelsea Gray. Fans' annoyance extends beyond a single incident. They believe the WNBA is attempting to disseminate the limelight instead of recognizing Clark's individual accomplishments while elevating several players. They contend that Clark's outstanding play this season warrants an exception. She not only had a successful season, but she also led the league in assists and promoted the WNBA in the process.
Crazy was this season versus the seasons past.
Our jersey sales were up 1,193%. The Caitlin Clark effect is real, and we're thrilled about it. But it brought visibility to the whole team of the Fever and to the WNBA. But if we just want to keep it in Indiana, we look at ticket sales sold out every night, over 17,000 fans in our games at home. When Caitlin announced that she was coming out into the draft on a Thursday afternoon, from that time to Sunday night, we had over 6,000 phone calls, people wanting to buy.
Some fans say the WNBA doesn't want to appear overly focused on one player for fear of charges of bias or favoritism. Supporters have speculated as to why the league could decide to promote other players over Clark. Others contend that the WNBA is attempting to draw attention to other players in order to present a more balanced league image rather than focusing solely on one notable individual. Caitlin Clark's performance as the league leader and an assistant is evidence of her extraordinary talent, vision, and ability to create plays. What distinguishes Clark, though, is her flair and unpredictable nature. Her assists are distinguished by quick decisions, precise accuracy, and a thorough comprehension of her teammates' positions. Fans have learned to anticipate the unexpected from Clark, who is renowned for her ability to pass at angles, thread the ball through tight spaces, and provide assists that seem like they belong on a highlight reel.
A lot of players, a lot of these wonderful ladies who bust their tail to make the WNBA what it was. Here's the reality. It wasn't what it is. The quality of basketball may have been up to snuff, and you had somebody as popular as Cheryl Swoops who had her own signature shoe, had to deal with Nike and all of this other stuff. But the bottom line is, very few people gave a damn.
Being the league leader in assists wasn't just about having a lot of assists. It was also about how her play benefited her team. Clark's passing isn't just showy, it's effective. She knows the game well and uses her skills to help her team win. The Indiana Fever's attack, was centered on her ability to generate scoring opportunities for supporters, and she helped her teammates become better scorers. As the WNBA expands, one of its largest challenges is establishing a strong fan base and sustaining viewership, especially when compared to the NBA. Clark's exclusion from the WNBA's top assists post felt like a snub not only to her stats, but also to the artistry she brought to the game. Clark's assists were more than just numbers on a scoreboard. They were moments that inspired fans, raised the bar for the league, and made her a joy to watch. Since her thrilling play style and extraordinary talent have enticed people who might not have otherwise watched women's basketball, Caitlin Clark has been instrumental in helping the league draw in new supporters. Her popularity has also increased the league's valuation and presented the WNBA to new audiences.
Bet good money within 10 years, colleges will lecture on the Caitlin Clark effect. Last night was the biggest night in WNBA history, and that's predominantly thanks to Caitlin Clark. That was the first time that tickets were sold for the draft, and they sold out in 15 minutes of launch. 1,000 people. Even when everyone and their third cousin knew the Indiana Fever were selecting Clark first overall, she was the story of the night. I mean, when you're more box office than any non-NFL sport in this country, that's what...
When the NBA is experiencing declines in viewership, the WNBA has a rare chance to build its own fan base. Players like Caitlin Clark, who are vital in drawing in sports fans with their energy, skill, and distinct style, are crucial in drawing in sponsorships and establishing the WNBA as a major sports league. By failing to give Clark the credit she merits, fans believe the WNBA may be losing out on a significant chance to reach a wider audience. When a player is as captivating as Clark, her visibility can act as a gateway for new fans, and the league's apparent reluctance to highlight her accomplishments impacts not only Clark, but also the WNBA's potential growth.